Welcome to a dose of divine inspiration. I'm your host, Sue London, and I am so excited to have you here because this is the show where you're going to experience heartfelt stories of faith, love, and miracles, guiding you to divine moments in your own life and reminding you that you are never alone. Now, this show today is all about the pets. Now, I can tell you that I have about 99.9% of the people that come to me wanting to know if their pets are okay on the other side. And my answer to you is yes, your pet is amazing. They go back to being healthy and whole again. So I want you to take comfort about that part. Now, what I want to do is I want to share my own personal journey with my dog, Gus. Now, this episode is about Gus's gifts and the miracles that pets bring us from the other side. Now, during this, I want you to take notes or play this again because the things that I'm sharing that Gus did for me, your pets are doing the same. So the idea is that when your pets cross, yes, you want to grieve. Oh my gosh, I can tell you, I went through so many boxes of Kleenexes that I should own a share in a Kleenex company. And I do this as a living, helping pets cross over. So I want to say to you, that, when your pet crosses, don't be hard on yourself. And your pet came into your life for a reason. And, when you sit down and you look back at what you learned from your pet and perhaps, sit down and journal the day after, or, when it's fresh still, about all the things that your pet did for you. Because I guarantee you're going to see that your pet came into your life for a reason. Okay, just like Gussie came into our life. So let me get started telling you about our journey. Now, Gus was a dog that came to us. He was a King Cavalier Spaniel. He lived to be 17 years old. I did daily healings on him. And because of that, he never ever had to go to a vet. He was always healthy. And he was a dog that at 5 weeks old, my daughter had saw that there was a litter of puppies found in an abandoned apartment and they all needed a home. So my daughter rescued him, and that's how Gussie came into our life. He was malnutrition. He was covered in fleas. He was scared, but yet he was lovable, and he brought such laughter into our home. And that was really what my husband learned. My husband Ross and I learned from Gussie is, have more fun in our life. And that's what Gussie brought us. So when we learned that lesson, like what's happened with your pet, that your pet came for a reason and Gussie came to teach us that. So everything was going great, and we were enjoying our life with Gussie, and our dog Marley was, at his side, and they were inseparable. And again, never sick a day in his life. Now, that is until July the 29th, 2023. Life changed for us. So here's what happened. Gussie, the night before, he had been running around, chasing his ball, playing, and having a wonderful, fun time with Marley and playing fetch and cuddling on the floor with my husband Ross and in my arms and talking back and forth. And he would howl and bark and play and all of that. Just a normal evening. But then as the evening was going, I thought, I wonder how many more moments I'm going to have with Gussie about, this having like times like this. And that's when things started to change. Now, something, if you don't know me, I am a psychic medium. I feel and hear this side. I do animal communication. I feel physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually what's happening in people as well as pets on this side as well as the other side. So when I have a thought like that happen, that is the other side preparing me for something. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not ready to say goodbye to this boy. But, even though he's 17 and our pets, unfortunately, don't live to be in their 90s like we do, that I, was very grateful for the time we had, but I still wanted more time with him. So what happened? I was getting ready for bed, and I heard, in the morning, get up at 5:30 and have your shower. And I thought, okay, this is really weird, but I did it. And I got up, and the about 2 o'clock in the morning, I got up, and Gussie wasn't feeling good. And I thought, it's a beautiful day, beautiful morning, early morning in July. And I thought, I'm just going to wrap Gussie in a blanket and that him and I will just go outside and I'll cuddle him and we'll look at the stars and the moon and we'll talk to each other. And that's what we did. And while we were out there, I was hearing that I was creating a very special memory that I was going to hold on to for the rest of my life. And this is what happened. And so while we were out there, Gussie said to me that we were getting a new puppy. Now, anytime your pet lets you know that you're getting a new puppy, that's kind of their way of saying, we're checking out here, that I'm sending you my replacement. So I took a note of that and I said, Gussie, I'm not ready to let you go. And I love you very much. And I had my words with him that a lot of people don't take that time to do, or they think their pet will live forever. Your pet loves when you talk to them, and they love when you tell them you love them, and they love it when you share your emotions and your fears and ask them for what it is that you want. So Gus and I were out there. Oh gosh, it was probably 2:30 till about 4:30 in the morning. We were sitting out there and just enjoying the stars. And Gussie was just kind of preparing me and telling me how much he loved me and that, it gave him a beautiful life. And he kept saying he was sending a puppy to us. He was sending us a new puppy. So then we came in at about 4:30 and went to bed. And I heard, the night before, get up and have a shower, 5:30. And I got up and I had my shower. And I thought, this is really weird. When I came upstairs, I noticed that there was piles of diarrhea, piles of pee and vomit at our back door. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's happening. And I knew that what I tell my clients is your pet, you need to stay strong for your pet. And as much as I wanted to freak out and say, no, 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 you can't leave me now. I knew I had to be strong for Gussie because I knew his time was coming to an end very soon that day. And I knew that he was going to have a more peaceful crossing if I stayed strong for him and showed him that I was supporting him on this journey. So what happened was that, I picked him up and I got him outside. He was really vomiting a lot. And I put him down and I came in. He'd thrown up all over me. And I thought, okay, I'll just put him on our deck and I will come and rush and get a cloth, clean up me, and then clean up him as well so that, we were in better shape. So much for a shower. So in that time of just literally running in the back door and in 3 minutes maximum back outside, Gussie was not on the deck. He had actually dragged his body over to a corner of our grass where I had this really bad feeling there was something not right about that corner, but I couldn't place it. I just knew that we couldn't let the dogs go on the grass. That's all I knew intuitively. So what happened, as I had come in, he knew, his time was running out and he got in that exact spot from the area where I knew something was really wrong. Like it had gotten to the point where I put up a barrier of chairs so the dogs couldn't go on the grass. Now here's what had happened, just to backtrack a little bit. 2 weeks earlier, both Marley and Gussie had been having a bit of diarrhea and vomiting. And when I went to the vet, I said, something is not right on our grass. Do you know, is there something going on? Is there a wild animal, like, with rabies, or is there something going on? He did not know. Okay, back now to our final day. So here Gussie is laying there and he's just laying there. And I knew that was the end, that was the beginning of the end. Now here's where the things started happening. where I really want to encourage you when you are in any situation like this, whether it's with a person or a pet. I started praying, and I knew that I could only take Gussie because Ross was at work and I had to leave Marley at home. Now, this is the first time in Marley's life of 10 years that he'd even been separated from Gus for 10 minutes, for 10 minutes. Like never, ever were they apart. They went to the groomers together. They were always together. So I had to leave Marley at home because my hands were full with Gussie. And I got him all wrapped in a blanket and I put him, nice and cozy on the floor of the front seat so that I could drive and watch him while he just laid there. And so while I was driving, I thought, okay, I had a 45-minute drive that I had to get to the vet hospital. It was a Sunday morning, and the only emergency vet hospital in our area of Niagara, Ontario, Canada, was in Thorold, and we had to get there. And it was about a 45-minute drive. So while I'm driving, I'm saying to Gussie, hang on, sweetheart, we're going to get there. And, Dad's going to meet us there and at the vet. So hang on. I know you want to say goodbye and he wants to be there for you as well. And then I started praying. I thought, what would be great if I could get a police officer to give me an escort to the vet hospital? So I started praying and I said, God, I don't want this to happen in the car. I want to be holding Gussie as he's crossing. I want him to feel the love that we have for him in those final moments, not rushing to get to a vet's hospital. Please, 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 please bring a police car so that I can get some help. Swear to God, it was not even 2 minutes later, right on the highway. I was on the QEW, if you're familiar with Ontario, Canada, we have QEW. And I was on the QEW highway. And literally, just after I finished saying that, I watched an OPP, an Ontario Police, Provincial Police car backing in to a spot where it was kind of like you could go off the road and park your car if you didn't meet somebody or whatever. And he was just pulled in. And I thought, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you. And I got out of the car and I rushed over to him and I said, oh my gosh, I need your help. I prayed for you. I need your help. My dog is in the car. My dog is dying and I need to get to the vet hospital. Now, every animal lover and owner knows Thorold Animal Hospital. And I said, you know how long this is going to take me to get there? And I said, can you just get me there? Can I come in your car or can you give me an escort? How can I get there fast? And because I said, I'm losing my dog now and I have to get him to say goodbye to my husband and that. And right away he stopped me from rambling and said, you know what? He says, you seem like a very calm person and I just want you to put your flashers on and I'm writing your license plate down, license plate number down, and you drive at the speed that you feel is safe. And I thought, I can't believe I'm hearing what this man is telling me. I can speed on a highway and it's okay, and he's not giving me a limit. I'm in the twilight zone. Like I thought, what is happening here? And I said, can you repeat what you just said? And he said it again. He said, you heard me right. Just get in your car, get your dog to the vet hospital, and I wish you both, much like, wellness and I'm supporting you on this journey. And I thought, oh my gosh, how can something like this happen? That alone was a miracle that a police car shows up and that also then he's telling me I can speed at whatever speed I want. And so what happened, I got in the car and I put the flashers on and I don't even want to tell you how fast I was going, but I've never drove that fast before. And what was interesting was it was like every car knew to pull over to let me go. And a 45-minute drive took me 23 minutes. And I got there and Ross was outside with the vet assistant and they had a blanket all ready. And we went in and here's what happened. Gussie, he told me, it was his end, and I knew that. And I was feeling in my body exactly what was happening. And I said to the vet, you know what? I know it's Gussie's time, and I feel what's happening in him. And he was having kidney failure. And she said, well, I have to do blood work, and that's part of this process. And then, you know, I will take the next step. So she came out and she said, are you sure this dog is 17? I said, I do daily healings on him. And she said, his blood work showed that of a 10-year-old. That's how healthy Gussie was. So then what happened next was that, we were kind of convincing her that we knew it was time. She didn't have to convince us. And so we were in the room, and all of a sudden, they had everything ready to give him. And I said, no, I have to first turn on his song. And what I do for our dogs is I put on a meditation through Insight Timer. It's a beautiful melody, and it's in Sleep with the Stars is the tune, and it's very beautiful. And how interesting! I just thinking this now. It was the stars that we were under the night before, right? Or the morning earlier. And so, anyways, I had the music going, and Ross and I were standing there, and the room started getting really, really cold. And the vet said, I don't know what it is about this room. This is the room where we always say goodbye to the pets, and it always gets really cold. Okay, here's something for you to know. If you are in that place where you're with your pet and it's time to say goodbye and you feel cold, what that is that's the other side coming to support you and support your pet and your loved one, whoever is, you're saying goodbye to. But for me, what happened, it wasn't just a couple pets that came to be with us. My mother and father-in-law came in, and they had their hands on Ross's shoulders. I see all this too, by the way, as well as I started seeing my own pets that were on the other side. Even Molly, who was a dog that really didn't like us because he had too much energy when he was a puppy, when she was part of our family. But she was there to support him as well as our other pets. And the touching part for me was that all these animals that I had helped cross over the time, they all started filing in. And they were all telling me that they were there to help me, to help Gussie. And I lost it. And I was crying like there was no tomorrow. And more Kleenexes were coming out. And so then what happened? The lights started flashing. And again, the vet said that, I don't know, something wrong with just this room with electricity. And when there's the other side there, or a pet's crossing over, electrical things can happen. So be aware of that. Okay. So I said to her, I'm going to explain everything to you later, but I just have to be there for Gus right now. So what happened? I was staying very strong. Ross and I were, saying our goodbyes to Gussie and thanking him for being such a special pet to us and loving us as much as we loved him. And that, I will always love you. And, just telling him thank you for being our pet. And so what happened? He was in my arms, and I watched his soul come out of his body, and he joined all the other animals, and he joined mom and dad. And then the angels were playing harps, and when they had crossed, they joined the rest of them and crossed over. And I said to the vet that Gussie's crossed, that, you can check now. And she said, I don't know how you did that, but you're right. He has crossed over. And the exact time he crossed was 11:11. And literally, it was seconds after he crossed that my phone started going really wacky. It was on the table, and it was on because we had the music is still going, but the music had stopped, and it was like static, and it was like shaking and vibrating, and it kept flashing 11:11. Now, 11:11 is that's when angels give messages. And Gussie, I had asked Gussie to connect with me from the other side when he got there, and to let me know he was okay. And it was 11:11, and how fitting for my little angel puppy to come to me and share that message at 11:11. So that was what happened there. And we explained to the vet, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and this is what was happening. And so she just had this huge aha moment over every situation when I told her what she experienced with us. Now, I had said to her about the grass in the corner, and she knew what that was about and what had happened. Gussie did not die of old age or any disease. He died because a raccoon peed on our lawn. And raccoon pee is very, very deadly for all animals. And she had said they had so many cases of dogs and cats and horses dropping dead from raccoon pee. And what had happened, all these houses are being built, and these raccoons were coming in to areas where they normally hadn't been before. And that is what took our little boy's life. So it was interesting to know that. And yeah, so that was just, I went through a lot when I saw raccoons after that, let me tell you. But again, they're God's pets, right? They're God's the creation, right? So we can't stay mad at them or that. But that was part of my grieving process that I went through. Now here's the magic that happened hours after. Okay, so Gussie crossed over, and I thought that I was going to just spend a week crying and celebrating Gussie, writing his article that I do with all my pets, helping Marley through it. Marley did really grieve. He got very mad and angry at me because I took Gussie on that final trip and did not bring him back. He was actually growling and like lunging at me because he was so mad at me. And so if you have a pet left behind, absolutely, your pet does grieve as well. And you just have to be patient and loving and supportive for them as you would do for yourself. So on the second day of Gussie crossing, I said to Ross, I'm just going to take Marley. We're going to go for a drive. The water's always been really great for us. We live right, along the Niagara River, and it's just beautiful and calming. And so that's what we did. So we're in the car, and all of a sudden Marley sits up, and the area in the car gets cold. My Gussie had come back, and boy, did he ever give me a lot. So he was there beside Marley, and Marley was all excited and licking the air. And when your pet licks the air, they're licking a friend on the other side too, by the way. Okay. Marley was licking the air, and Gussie was talking like a mile a minute to me. And the one thing he said to me was he wanted to have a children's book, just like Rocky did. And he told me everything, the whole story had to be, how it had to be, what it had to be, the whole thing. So I've got that still to write. And then he started telling me that he wanted me to ask for what I needed, and that he was now my guardian angel, and he was going to be providing what I needed. So, people started showing up, and phone calls and business got busier. And then the crazy thing was, I think it was about the fourth day, my phone started ringing, and I received a phone call from this group that I was being given an award for, and I was going to be in the history books with Abraham Lincoln, Oprah Winfrey, Abraham Lincoln, Stevie Wonder, a whole list, but for the work that I do helping pets and people. And so I said, how did you find me? And they said, your website just came up on our screen. And when we looked and saw everything you were doing, we were just so amazed and so impressed that we knew that you were making a difference, a positive impact on the world. So I thought that was good. Thanks, Gussie, like saying my thank yous. And then it was a few days later, I received a phone call again. And it was from this group here, actually, the International Association of Top Professionals. And I was being given an award for the top hospice pet doula, animal communicator, and pet healer. And again, how did you learn about me? And it was because my website had come up on their screen. And I thought, this is crazy, Gussie. Like, I want you to know that your pet can do amazing things when they're on the other side. I went on to be receiving the Empowered Women Humanitarian Award and Lifetime Achievement Award, and featured on a cover of a magazine and an 8-page spread. And all along going through this, I was having like papers would be breeze, like it would be like I was sitting on a table, let's say, and the paper was kind of just doing this, and pictures would move across my desk. It was just incredible what goes on. And recently, I was diagnosed, well, I guess it's like 5 months ago now. I was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. And when I was diagnosed, it was a shock. Gussie was right beside me and said, "You're going to get through this. I'm here. I'm going to lead the right people to you." And literally, this dog has brought the right people to me to support me with whatever I needed, whatever message I needed to hear, whatever I needed to have hope. It's just been an incredible journey. So I want to assure you that with your pet on the other side, they're supporting you. They want you to ask for what it is that you want. Because if you don't tell them what you want, they don't know, or they know, but they want you to ask for it. Okay. So these are some things that I want to leave you with, to talk to your pets on the other side. And if you feel that you want some help with this process, I do have a membership, healing membership to help you with grieving. You can see that at my website, asksuelondon.com, under the membership area. Because when you're grieving, it's like you're stuck. You're not in the present, and you can't be aware of what's around you. And on that membership, there are meditations to help you be in the present moment, to help you to make each day a little easier, and then to get you to a point that you can communicate with your pet on the other side. So that is my story of my special boy, Gussie, and the miraculous things that he's brought into my life. And he continues more and more. And I have 7 dogs on the other side. And I'm going to be sharing throughout this series all of their things that they have done for me as well, because they've all been different. But Gussie really is taking on the role of being the leader of the pack for sure. So I hope that I've said something here today to help you along your journey, and to remind you, you are never, ever, ever alone. And that, hold that faith, and see the love and the miracles that are surrounding you. And that, it's just an amazing, incredible journey that we each have, but you got to be present and be aware for all of this. So on that note, I would like to wish you much love and many blessings. I'm Sue London, wishing you a wonderful day. I'll see you real soon.